Welcome back to VocaTales, the place where English learning meets the art of gentle storytelling. Today's episode is about something that costs nothing, yet can change everything. Let's sit back, relax, and listen to a story called A Cup of Kindness. It was one of those gray mornings when the city seemed half asleep. The sky was heavy with clouds, and the air smelled like rain that hadn't yet fallen. People hurried along the sidewalk, their eyes fixed on their phones or the ground. Everyone had somewhere to be. Everyone had something to do. Among them was Liam, a young office worker who had moved to the city just 3 months ago. Every morning he took the same route, down the main street, past the little park, and into the small café on the corner. It wasn't fancy, just a place where the coffee was strong, and the smiles were real. That morning, the café was quieter than usual. The rain had started to fall, light at first, then steady. Inside, the sound of the rain mixed with soft jazz music. Liam took his usual seat near the window, ordered his coffee, and opened his laptop. Then something caught his attention. Near the entrance, an old man stood with a soaked hat and trembling hands. He looked around uncertainly, as if deciding whether to come in. Liam watched as the old man hesitated, and then slowly turned to leave. But before he could step outside, the barista, a young woman named Ella, called out to him. "Sir, please come in. You can stay here until the rain stops." The man looked surprised. He shook his head politely. "No, thank you. I don't have money," Ella smiled. "That's okay. You can have a cup of coffee on the house." Liam saw the way the man's eyes softened, like someone who hadn't heard kindness in a long time. He stepped in, dripping rain onto the mat, and Ella led him to a corner seat. She brought him a steaming cup of coffee, placed it gently before him, and said, "It's warm. Take your time." Liam found himself unable to look away. There was something about that small moment, so quiet, so simple, that hit him deeply. He realized that in a world full of noise, kindness still spoke the loudest. Minutes passed. The old man sat quietly, sipping his coffee, staring out at the rain. Ella went back to her work, her smile unchanged. Then, the man stood up. He walked slowly to the counter and said softly, "Thank you, miss. I used to come here years ago, before life got difficult." Ella nodded, her eyes kind. "You're always welcome here." He smiled, a tired, grateful smile, and walked back into the rain. Later that afternoon, when the rush hour began, Liam went to pay his bill. He added an extra $10 and said, "For the next person who can't afford coffee." Ella looked surprised. He shrugged. "Just keep the kindness going." She smiled knowingly. "You got it." The next morning, a new note appeared on the cafe wall. It read, "A cup of kindness. Pay it forward." Over the next few weeks, people began adding little sticky notes beneath it, for a stranger in need, for someone having a hard day, for the man who used to come here years ago. And every time someone bought a cup of kindness, the barista would hang a note by the counter. Each cup carried more than coffee. It carried warmth, compassion, and connection. Liam never saw the old man again. But every time he looked at the wall of notes, he smiled. because in a small cafe on a rainy street, something beautiful had started. And it began with one simple act and a cup of kindness. Kindness doesn't always roar. Sometimes it's a quiet word, a small gesture, or a cup of warm coffee on a rainy day. The world doesn't need more noise. It needs more warmth. And maybe, when we choose to be kind, we make the world a little easier for someone else to face. Thanks for listening to VocaTales. If this story warmed your heart, share it with someone who could use a little kindness today. Remember, words have power, and stories connect us all. Until next time, keep listening, keep learning, and keep being kind.